Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next Chat with Chan session. Today we have with us Greg Floyd. Greg Floyd is the union president of Teamsters Local 237, and he is also a member of the New York City Employees Retirement System Board. So great to have you with us, Greg.
Thank you for having me on, Sherry. What a catchy title, Chat with Chan.
Chat with Chan, yeah. So, I just have a few questions I wanted to ask you to, hopefully for you to share some insight with our followers. The first question is, you wear multiple hats as obviously the union president and also a trustees on the NYCERS board. Can you tell us a little bit about your career path and, remembering and celebrating Black History Month that we just wrapped up, kind of in tribute to that. Are there any Black leaders in the public service that you looked up to throughout your career?
Oh, wow. Well, let me start with my career path. I started off working at Queens Hospital when I was 21 years old as a special officer, hospital police officer. And I became a sergeant. I worked at Woodhull Hospital for 3.5 years. And I went back to Queens Hospital as a captain, the hospital police, before working for the union, coming in as a deputy director. And then I became the director. I was a trustee, secretary, treasurer, then president of the union. I have a 27-year career with the Teamsters. I have a 10-year career with the hospital police, 37 years working for the city. Some of the Black leaders that I looked up to, first was my father, who told me to take the civil service exam and take the position. Second, I would say, would be Carl Haynes, who hired me and said, I'm going to groom you to be my successor. The third, I had a gentleman, he passed away. He's actually David Patterson's father, Basil Patterson. Oh, you talk about a man who knew the ins and outs, debonair, suave. He actually worked for my father. We found out later they both worked at Sydenham Hospital in the midnight shift. He was the clerk, my father was a special officer. But we didn't know that at the time. And he was an attorney, he was secretary of state, he was a state senator. Basil has a street named after him, rightfully so. He should have a couple of buildings named after him. The man was great. You see David, his father, but the son. But Basil was a man of wisdom, and I really admired his advice. You always learn something from him. Just from a simple conversation, you always walked away with something. And he was a good stickball player. If there's a stickball Hall of Fame, Basil would be in the stickball Hall of Fame. So, man of wisdom.
Wow. Well, with such impressive leaders, I can see why you're such a successful union president, and definitely have a breadth of experience in public service. So we're very fortunate to have you on the NYCERS board.
Yes. Thank you.
So speaking of the NYCERS board, what are some of the issues that you advocate for on behalf of your members as a board member there?
Well, first we advocate for good sound investments, because the board is we treat it as a social club, but it's not. It's there so pensioners will have their pension. But when we put the two together, ESG, good social investments, we found a way to have both fiscally and socially responsible investments. And when we can marry the two, that is our greatest pleasure. We just had a divestment. We pledged to divest from fossil fuel. What is fiscally responsible about that? Well, we're moving toward electric cars in the future, and we're going to be using less and less fuel. So the timing of getting out of fossil fuels is now. So it's correct. So we're not going to be losing there. And we did a 15-year study. So that's one of our accomplishments that we could be proud of. And then we also are proud that we don't want to do businesses with people who cheat employees out of wages. We're very conscious of that. We get a call from another pension fund, another union fund that somebody we're investing with is being irresponsible with its employees. We act on it. We have leverage in the boardroom. We divest from private prisons. We don't want to be in the business of profiting off of people being incarcerated, because we know even though people may be incarcerated, private prisons are there to make money. So they give them inferior food, they give them less, I would say, adequate equipment, safety conditions, everything else. Why? Just to turn a profit.
Yeah. So I definitely think we, obviously our positions overlap, and, you're making sure that the investments are sound. On our end, we're making sure that the funding is sound. So it's good to work together in that aspect. So, you spoke a little bit about your accomplishments. Are there anything left on your, I'm sure there are things left on your to-do list that you want to accomplish going forward. Can you share with us?
Oh, well, my to-do list would be personal and not more professional, because as somebody pointed out to me, Greg, if you do nothing else, you've had a pretty stellar career, and I would agree. So if something comes my way, if there's an opportunity, maybe. However, I would say professionally, I'm more than satisfied. I'm well with beyond what I've ever dreamed I could be.
Mhm.
So I would say my personal goals, whether I want to go visit all 50 states, or I want to go visit a couple of countries, the continents, things like that, left. I'm a big sports fan. I like to visit every NBA, Major League Baseball park, every football stadium, and go see a game in each one of them. I say that's still on my list, and I've gotten through a lot of it, but I haven't gotten through all of it.
It's always nice to have things left on the to-do list to do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and when I finish that list, if I ever finish it, I'll find another list.
of course. All right. Well, we don't want to keep you too much because I know you have a lot to do on your to-do list.
Listen, I appreciate coming on, and it's a very, very catchy title, Chat with Chan.
Yes. So thank you again for doing this, and be sure to follow us if you haven't already. Take care.
Okay.